Repeat that again, that sketching is different than drafting. And usually when we sketch with a pen because we don't erase. We got to get to the point where our sketching is like this flow of thought that comes out of our head, through our hand. Once we draw something, it informs us how to go to the next step in the design process. Okay? But first of all, we've got to learn how to kind of control things a little bit. So if you get your pen, everybody find their Sharpie pen. I'm going to use a blue one. I think your guys' is black, right? Okay? And a scale. Grab a scale. Because one of the most valuable things to be able to do in an office is called sketching to scale. I can sit down and look at a drawing, and if this is going to be my door, and that's an 1/8 inch scale, I already know that door's 3 foot wide. Now that comes with oodles of practice. What? Okay, I make it look easy. It's not. It takes lots of practice. I've been doing this, oh wow, 30 years? Okay. So, but being able to do something like that quickly saves time. And when you're talking about in the business environment, time's money. It boils down to that. You want to keep your job in this environment, in today's environment, you make yourself valuable. Okay, so this is a skill that we'll work on for interior design students. We'll work on this all year long, real heavy, and then through your rest of your education here, you will have a pen in your hand all the time. I know Angie is a stickler about it, and that's good. And it's just one of those skills. Angie told me the story, and I've never heard this, and I think it's great. She sat down for a job interview, and the guy asked her to draw a wall section. Sketch a wall section. Told him 2 things. First, she knew what went in a basic wall section, and showed him she knew how to sketch. That was brilliant. She was a little nervous, she said, but drawing lines that are parallel to each other, that are certain lengths. So at a 1 inch scale, if you'll make a dot at 2 feet long, make 2 dots, one where you're going to start and one when you're going to end, and then move your scale away, because you don't use your scale as a straight edge. Okay? After you make your 2 dots, you can look at the dot you're drawing to. Don't look where your pencil is. Look, if I'm going to start here, I want to draw and I'm going to look at where I'm going. And you can do that again. Do that several times. And just get to where you can start on a dot. I look at the dot I'm going to end at, and I know that one now is 2 feet long. Or approximately. We're sketching. It doesn't have to be drafting. But it's really close. Can you do that horizontally? Use a 1 inch scale. And you decide to do 9 inches. I can measure one and then try to draw a bunch of parallel lines that are the same length without measuring again. That's what the next step can be. When we draft, we want our corners to be perfect, right? They're just like that quiz. That one's drawn by a computer, but you can see there's no overlap in the corners. When I'm sketching, I want to overlap the corners some. Now, it looks huge up on the screen, but that's like a 1/16 of an inch maybe. Okay? So it's okay. We want overlapping corners. This is good. We're not drafting. Another thing I do when I draw a line If I'm drafting, I'll just go dot and I'll try to draw the perfect line. Now watch carefully. I do a thing called hit, go, hit when I sketch. Put my pen down and I kind of wiggle it. I think about where I'm going to go. Then I draw it and then I say, okay, I'm done. So I got a hit, a go, and a hit. Okay, so it's not like the craft thing where you do this. You just set your pen there, wiggle it just a touch, go and hit. Ooh, that's pretty crooked. Okay, so overlapping corners, and I'll just abbreviate this, HGH, hit, go, hit. Okay? Now, I want you to draw, we're going to draw a little house. Okay? And it is going to be 10-foot square at 1/4-inch scale. Now, when you get my 1/4-inch scale, I'm going to make 3 dots. Watch first and then do. Because if I can save time, I can make 10 foot horizontally and 10 foot vertically. Now I can do hit, go, hit, right? Can overlap my corners. I'm looking at the dot. Now I'm looking at this line while I'm drawing this one, so it's parallel. And I can draw a square. That's 10 foot, 0 inches square. And that's at 1/4-inch scale. But just make those 3 marks and force yourself to start learning how to draw parallel lines, no matter if they're close together or far apart. Laugh at yourself, that's all right. You're just starting, right? I'm not done yet. I'm just learning. If you mess up, draw it again. Okay. I'm going to make 6-inch thick walls. So I'm going to make 2 marks again. 6 inches. At 1/4-inch scale. Now I can make the inside walls. Again, using just those 2 marks. Training myself to sketch to scale. Remember, keep that in the front of your mind. It's not drafting or sketching. It's okay for it to wander around a little bit. It's okay to be a little off. Now when we do doors and windows, when we sketch, we don't put in all the little pieces. Okay? So if I do a 3-foot door, I'm going to mark my 3 feet so I know how wide it is. Do the same steps. Make the opening. Make the door. And that's a 45. I don't draw the 45 with a pen because I can't make a construction line. Maybe you can draw a simple line, or you could dot it in so you know where to kind of draw that arc. And I don't want to draw that construction line for the 45. Do a couple doors at different sizes. Do one on the north wall and one maybe on the left wall. Are you doing hit, go, hit? Make making as few marks on the page as you can so we can keep our speed going. So the door gets a little simpler. Windows get a lot simpler. I'm going to draw a little 2-foot window here on this side. So I'm going to do the door opening, and then I'm just putting the glass in. I'm not going to do the jambs or the sills. Takes too long. Because you saw from your quiz, after you get done sketching and getting your ideas down, then you put it in the computer and it puts in all the tiny little pieces. You notice how perfect that was on the quiz. Okay? So it'll get there. You need to know what all the pieces are. That's why we teach you all the pieces when we draft. But when we sketch, we try to make it a little simpler. So I can make a 2-foot window. Maybe I'll make a couple windows because I like a lot of windows in my room. So in that bottom wall, you can make whatever kind of window you'd like. I'm going to make like a picture window maybe. It's got a little mullion in the middle. But I've always got my scale in my hand and I'm using it just to make a few dots. Real important for students as you're learning to keep things in scale, because if they get out of proportion and say, oh, it works, and next year you start trying to put it in the computer and it's like, well, it worked on this end of the building, but my scale got all mixed up. Now it doesn't work. So it's just a skill. Now these are great things to practice. I've already walked around the room and watched people doodle, and that's great. My notes are always covered in all kinds of stuff. But my notes are always covered with this stuff. I practice this stuff continuously so that when I can say, let's see, let's draw. What should we draw next? A chair maybe? Okay, I'm going to change to 3/4 scale. And I'm going to draw a chair. Okay, it's going to be 30 inches wide and 20 inches deep. Okay, so 30 inches, that's 2.5 feet at 1/4 inch. So there's that. 2 dots just like we did the walls. 20 inches is 1'8". So I got my 3 dots. I can make the outline of the chair. These are one of those big, oversized reclining chairs. So I got a square. I'm still doing hit, go, hit. I've got overlapping corners. Then you can put the arms and the back on it. Let's say I've got 6-inch deep arms. I'm going to put, and the back is 6 inches also. It's a big overstuffed thing. Now I can make it look like a chair in plan. Also know if you want a little more style in your sketching, see that little dot right there? It's not on purpose. It's called a professional dot. Do I do it at every corner? No, I don't do it everywhere. I do it every so often, and it just makes the drawing feel right. You'll get to a point where you go, oh yeah, my sketching still looks like it's drafting. But at a certain point it'll go, now it's looking like sketching. And little things like overlapping, hit, go, hit, professional dots will really start to help you out. You start looking at some of the architectural magazines and design magazines, and they show these beautiful buildings. And invariably, they'll show you the first sketch that the designer did to get it started. And it is sketchy. And then you see what it turns into. The design process starts at the end of a pen. Because if I can't get it out of my head onto a piece of paper that somebody else can see, it's just an idea in my head.